Today is going to be a very different video. Today, I'm going to be doing something that nobody else has done, that no other degenerate such as myself has ever done before, I think. I am going to be rating every female Genshin Impact character's ass underwater. So if you live on a rock or you're just plain stupid, Genshin Impact just recently released with its newer region, Fontaine in version 4.0, and honestly, it's been pretty fire so far. I've been enjoying it. The story is actually good for once. The story is actually a story that I'm paying attention to so far, and I really enjoy it. And I highly suggest that, you play it because, this is one of the few times where Genshin Impact is actually a good game. However, along with Fontaine being released, an entirely new feature has also been released where you can dive underwater into the depths of Fontaine and explore all of these underwater ruins and see all these new creatures and just have a good old fun time going underwater and unlocking chests. It's beautiful under there, but what is even more beautiful that you could do under there other than just swimming and helping Sealies and unlocking chests and getting absolutely destroyed by these two manta rays who I later then actually did find out how to destroy because for some reason they have like this thing where you have to you have to like shoot the middle over of them. Whatever, that's not what we're talking about today. What you can actually do underwater in this version is that whenever you hold down your mouse or you just hold down whatever button is on your phone if you play on mobile, in which case you're broke, you need to get a PC. Your characters will actually do this certain pose where you are going to get some pretty good back shots. Okay, you're gonna get a good glance of their ass, and you're finally gonna be able to check out the goods in all of its entirety. I've seen many videos on TikTok saying about, wow, Yoimiya's ass is absolutely splendid in this update. I go underwater and I could just see all of it, right? It's just all hanging out there, and that's going to be my job today. Today I'm going to be ranking how each of these characters' asses look underwater and how good they are in this current tier list. Now, for the tiers that we have in this tier list, we have S, A, B, C, and dress locked. Now, what does dress locked mean? Well, dress locked means what you're probably thinking it means. It means that for the female characters who have some sort of dress on or a part of their costume or fit is just shading over their ass as to where you can't see anything about it, they're going to be put in the dress lock section. So, some obvious candidates that we have here for this are, of course, Noelle, but we also have like Nilu and, characters where, we just can't see their ass at all. We're not seeing any type of booty, nothing at all, okay? Just can't see anything, okay? Now, obviously, Nahida, Klee, Diona, and Sayu and Dori, they're not going to be a part of this for obvious reasons. However, Deha is the only female character in the game in which I do not actually have. So thank God for that. Okay, I don't have Deha because I mean, to be honest, she's trash anyways. I didn't want her. So that's actually the only female character who I don't have on my account. So every other female character will be rated and they will be put in this tier list, and Deha will just be put in a tier below dress lock because she is just that abhorrently terrible and nobody cares about her anyways. Moving on from that, there's going to be two main ways that we're going to dictate how good these characters' asses appear underwater. The first way is by determining the circumference and radius of how much their ass sticks out underwater. Now, I'm not going to be a mathematical person here and actually calculate how it looks underwater. I'm just going to use my degenerate mind and just decide who is more perkier than the other, and that is who is going to be determined to be placed when and where. And there's also going to be another main way as to how these characters are going to be rated. They're going to be rated based on just how good it is to look at their ass on the water. For instance, a character may be perkier than another. However, they will still be placed lower than another character who does not look as perky as them simply because their ass is actually not showcased as good as the other character who is above them but less perkier. So that's how this tier list is going to work. There is no certain order in which these characters will be rated, so you might as well just get right into the video. So the first character that we're actually going to be reviewing is Aloy. I know nobody knows who that is, and everybody who does use her only uses her because they do not have Ganyu. But Aloy is in fact a character in this game, and surprisingly, Aloy actually has a sizable amount of ass on her. It's not bad at all. Whatever she is wearing, I don't know what to call it, but the gaps in between these flaps allows us to actually see a good chunk of her ass, and it's not bad at all. You can really see the wedges at the bottom of her ass. You can really see the little lines. Okay, you can see them in full detail. Not to mention, her thighs aren't too bad. I wouldn't say that they're the best that I've seen, most definitely, but Aloy is certainly not lacking at all compared to other characters that we'll see on this list, such as, well, blatantly Yanfei. Aloy is not bad in the ass department. It's not the best thing to look at, but it's also not the worst. You can get a little bit of value out of looking at her ass underwater. It's not that bad, and for the few people who actually do use Aloy, or even has Aloy on their account, I wouldn't say that this is a bad investment. This is a pretty good investment to have her underwater and using this pose skill as to where you can see her ass, because it's really not that bad. It's honestly a little bit of a joy to look at. So I would say that I would have to place Aloy in B tier. It's not A, not S or C. Not no really in between for a character such as hers. It's just not really that bad, and it can be pretty good to look at in the right circumstances. Second character that we have up for debate is Amber. Now, unfortunately for Amber, she doesn't have a lot going on. Amber is a character notorious for not really having much ass in the first place, despite her having what I would assume incredibly tight shorts on, but that does not stop her from being completely assless. No. She has something going on. It's just that I can't really see it. I can't really see what all the hype is about. I would have to say that the lines underneath her ass are definitely a bonus. You can clearly see them in 4K, and they are a beauty to look at. But besides that, I am not really seeing too much from Amber here, and she is not doing too well in this department. Also, a side note that I have to add in this video, for the characters such as Amber and Rosaria and Mona, who have gotten newer and updated costumes to be more PG-13, I suppose, we are not going to be using those costumes for this video, because that is an indirect nerf to their asses. And we just can't allow any, we can't allow characters to be discriminated against in this tier list. We have to make sure that they're all ranked appropriately. But Amber so far in her original costume is not doing too well. She's not doing too good. I would have to put Amber in the C tier. She doesn't have much ass nor thighs. The only thing that she really has are those booty lines, but that's all that she really has to her name. So unfortunately for you, Amber, you're gonna have to go in C tier. The reason why there's no D tier for this tier list, by the way, is because I truly do feel like every female character in this game does have a bit of ass. I mean, that is what Hoyoverse intended in the first place, in order to sell their character. So there is no D tier. It only goes up to C, and C is just, well, you're flat, but maybe as you grow up a little bit more, you'll gain a little bit of something. Now, Beto is honestly very surprising to me. I thought that Beto would have been carrying a lot more in her ass than I thought she would. But, to be honest, for some strange reason, Beto doesn't have a big ass. I thought that Beto would have a bigger ass than what I'm seeing right now. But it's honestly not that big. It looks kind of flat. It doesn't really look like too much, which honestly scares me, because I thought that Beidou would have been an easy S tier for this tier list, but she's not really making the cut. I mean, she has the thighs, but this is not really doing much for her, and this isn't really a thigh tier list, but it definitely does help if you do have some thighs to combat with the ass. So, in my personal opinion, I think I'm going to have to put Beidou in A tier, just because, well, she is Beidou, and to be honest, she does have something going on, but I'm just not really understanding what is going on here in this typical situation. Now, coming in number 4, we have Candace. Now, to be honest, this is the first character who is kind of skirting the lines between dress locked and actually being rateable in this tier list. Because the back portion of her dress, whatever she is wearing, is obscuring a piece of her ass, more importantly, the top half. But you can still see something with Candace. You can still see that her thighs are actually pretty juicy. And it seems like her ass is a bit perky in this instance. It doesn't look bad. I don't think it's bad, but to be honest, Candace just appears like she has more thigh power than ass power in general. And not like that's a bad thing, but I will give her points due to that. And honestly, once again, I can't really see the top half of her ass. Once again, some of these characters that you'll be seeing in this tier list, they skirt the lines between dress locked and rateable. So I'm only going off of what I can really see and what I can then estimate off of what I can only see. And what I'm seeing right here is that Candace, she's not too bad. She's not really bad at all. Is really not bad what she's got going on. I would have to put Candace in the B tier. Is really not that bad. I can't see the top half of her ass that well, but I can see that her thighs are carrying a bit of a punch, and I'll give her some credit on that. Now, the next character that we have up is Kale, and honestly, you as a person may be expecting Kale to not carry much of a dump truck at all, but you're actually kind of wrong in this department. Kale actually has a good ass to look at when she is on the water. It's not that bad to look at, and especially with her dress, it floats up so you can actually see a good chunk of her ass while you're swimming. But it's not like, it's really not bad. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty nice to look at. She's definitely given us a view. The person that Kale reminds me a lot of is Sucrose. Okay, now, well, obviously, remember the event when Sucrose and Kale were best buddies. They were good friends. But, I feel like there's a bigger reason for that. I feel like it's because Sucrose and Kale, they both know they've got cake. It's just that a lot of people don't think that they do. But once they show it off, it's honestly pretty impressive. I don't think Kale is bad in this department. However, I am a little bit mixed and torn on which tier I would put her in. I'm not sure if I would put her in the low B or the top C. It could honestly be interchangeable. So I think I'm just going to put her at the top C. Okay, she's the best character that we have in the C tier. She's definitely bringing something to the forefront, and even though it's not much, I can still clearly see it. It's a joy to look at, and I'm not going to falter on that. Next up, we have Eula, and I'm just gonna go straight to the point. Eula is an immediate S tier. Whenever you're discussing these types of degenerate topics or discussions, Eula is always going to be at the top no matter what, because Eula just has a fat ass and she has even fatter thighs. I mean, Eula will never disappoint you in this department. Even on her final NA string, her ass literally jiggles if you pay enough attention, which I think is astounding character detail that Horrorverse has added into her character. Eula as a character, man, I can't really get enough of her. She's great, and her ass is even greater, and her thighs are absolutely godly. So Eula, you deserve the S tier. You are the first character in the S tier. You deserve it. You go right up in there. Next up, we have Fischl, and Fischl may actually surprise you. Fischl actually has a decent ass. Now, you might be thinking that Fischl deserves to be in the dress locked department, but no, Horrorverse was actually nice enough to us to let her dress be able to float up considerably, as to where you do have a great view of the bottom portion of her ass, but you can still see a good part of her ass because her dress flutters a lot, and that is a huge plus to her in this list. And her ass is not bad at all. Her ass is honestly pretty perky at the bottom. It sticks out a bit, and I honestly like it. It's very good. Okay, I like that the skin is showing on one leg and it isn't on another. I think that is very unique. And I think that Fischl, she did really good. Okay, she's doing better than I thought she would. She's doing better than I thought than anybody would, so in my personal opinion, I'm going to have to put Fischl in A tier, because Fischl, she surprised me. I thought she was going to be dress locked, but she's not. And not only is she not dress locked, her dress flutters considerably in the water, which is another gigantic plus. Not only that, but her ass is honestly pretty good. So Fischl is going to be in the A tier. Next up, we have Hu Tao, and this one honestly hurts me. The reason why it hurts me is because Hu Tao, well, as we may already have known, does not have any ass. Now, look, once again, I have to reiterate, I do believe that every female Genshin character in this game has ass. I fully believe so. It's just that Hu Tao probably has, one of the least amounts of ass in the game. Hu Tao, I'm so sorry. Look, I feel really bad about this one because Hu Tao is one of my favorite characters in the game. I'm pretty sure she's like everybody's favorite character in the game. She has so much promotional material about her. Just so many collaborations too. I mean, the Hu Tao is honestly like the mascot of Genshin Impact at this point, and it's so sad to see that a mascot could be so incredibly flat. But it is how it is, and unfortunately for Hu Tao, I can't see any kind of perky thighs or outgoing ass. I can't see anything. She just has a small ass, and while that is unfortunate, that is a truth that we're going to have to accept. So I'm going to have to put Hu Tao in the C tier, unfortunately. I'm very sorry about this, Hu Tao. It's just that you have no ass, but I still love you because, you're one of my favorite characters. Now we have Jean here making her debut, and honestly, Jean kind of confuses me because when I look at Jean's ass underwater, I'm naturally expecting Jean to just be an S tier because she is the animal mommy, and why wouldn't she have a nice ass to go along with that status? However, Jean, Jean is a little bit weird because I can tell that Jean has ass, especially when you do the mouse pose. The backside of her dress flutters quite a lot. It flutters frivolously. But the thing about Jean's ass is that it's flat, but the only reason why it seems like her ass is flat is because I think that her pants are honestly just squeezing her ass to that point. I think that Jean is honestly pretty thick. It's just that, her pants are just doing that to her ass. So her ass isn't perky, but it's at this weird flat angle. It's kind of flat. Her thighs are good. But her ass, while it is a good ass, is not really perky, because I do personally believe that her tight ass pants, are basically just holding back her dump truck, holding it in its barriers, so I think I'm just gonna have to put Jean in A tier because, I mean, to be honest, I can't really see her going lower. Maybe she could be in B tier, but I wouldn't personally feel right about that, so I'm just going to put Jean in A tier for now. She's not bad, it's just that she was a little bit weird to me when I first saw it, and I was expecting more, but I mean, it's not like it's bad either. Now we have Keqing, who I still have at level 1, because I truly have no use for her whatsoever. But moving on from that, Keqing is a disappointment. Reason why I say Keqing is a disappointment is because Keqing's dress has a mind of its own, meaning that it just flutters whenever it wants to and exposes everything she's got going on under there whenever it wants to. Keqing's dress is honestly against herself, but unfortunately, I can't say the same for her being underwater. The best that I would explain this is that it's just boring. You can't really see much, and then for the much that you can see, it's still not a lot, okay? It's just not impressive. It's not fun to look at, really. Her gray stockings or pants or whatever she's wearing, is just completely dimming out any perkiness that she could be showing. It's not a vibrant color, so you can't really see much of anything. So unfortunately for Keqing, I had higher hopes for Keqing. I really did. But unfortunately for Keqing, I'm going to have to place her in C tier. This is just a prime example of a character that could be perky, but because we can't actually really see much, she's going to be rated lower in this instance, unfortunately. So Keqing, you gotta go in C tier. And I can also say the same thing for Kirara. I was expecting more from Kirara, but she's not putting off much of a show. It's practically the exact same situation as Keqing. Her dress is covering a decent amount of her ass, and then for the much of her ass that you can see, it's still not impressive as well. So Kirara is also going to have to go in C tier for the exact same reasons as Keqing. Next up, we got Kuki Shinobu, and she did not disappoint. Okay, she did not disappoint, and I knew she would not, because Kuki's ass in these shorts is absolutely magnificent. I feel like it perfectly bridges the line between S tier and A tier. Okay, just the line in between those. I'm just going to put Kuki at the top of A tier. Okay, her ass is extremely perky in this instance. Even though it is a small ass, it makes up for that for being perky and being, outwardly in nature. And her thighs are also pretty good. She's got some good thigh game going on. I could definitely give her that for sure. Cookie's ass is a pleasure to look at every single time. I mean, not like I use her because I haven't built her for Hyper Bloom yet, but when I eventually do use her, yeah, she's definitely gonna be going on my dive and expeditions on my Bloom teams. So Cookie, good job. You earn your spot in A tier. Now we have Layla up, and honestly, I did not expect much from Layla, and I was correct in that hypothesis. Layla, I mean, I don't really think that she's known to have ass in general, and this definitely speaks volumes in this specific video because, I mean, I can't even really see her ass. Once again, this character is bridging the line between dress locked and rateable in the tier list. Because for me to actually see any part of her ass, I need to strain my camera upwards just to see it. And even then, it doesn't look that impressive. She doesn't have any thigh game going on, nor ass game. I feel like she just deserves a spot in C tier comfortably. I mean, I did have her in B tier beforehand, but honestly, with the amount of effort that you have to go through to actually see her ass, and then when you actually do see it, she's not packing anything at all. Yeah, she just deserves to be in C tier. I don't even know what I was thinking. Next up, we got Lisa, and Lisa is not bad. Lisa did not disappoint. I was actually expecting higher for her, but I guess I have to stop doing that, after a while. But Lisa is not bad. Her ass is a bit perky, and her thighs, well, her thighs are actually pretty thick at the start. I could definitely see, that little push right there, that little section of fat that separates her ass and her legs. I can definitely see it, and it's not bad. Lisa is not bad. Her dress, the back portion of her dress definitely flutters enough as to where you could get a good view of her ass. And her ass is honestly pretty sizable. Okay, her ass is not the worst. It's not the best. It's a little bit flat at the bottom, but I can still see the curved lines, which do kind of make up for that. I would have to say I would put Lisa in B tier, but like in a high B, like she's not really that good. It's still nice to look at. It looks weird a little bit, but it's not the worst. Okay, I'll just put it in B tier because I just feel like, she's gonna be comfortable being in a high B. Now we got Lynette, okay, one of our more newer female characters in the game that has been recently released. Lynette does not disappoint. I think I would place Lynette in a high B as well as Lisa because, at first glance, if you really think about it, right? Lynette's dress or leotard, whatever she's wearing, okay, I mean, it does showcase her ass pretty nice, and the fluttering is a joy to look at. You can see the bottom half of her ass very well, but when you really think about it, she has a lot of space. I think that Lynette's ass is actually one of the more enjoyable asses to look at, but not only that, but I feel like she's hiding a lot more than she's actually leading on the surface. I feel like her ass is actually pretty big, one of the biggest. I feel like it is one of the biggest. It's definitely a big ass. It's just my personal intuition from being a degenerate that I can tell that Lynette's ass is, it carries potential. It's just that we can't see that potential as of yet. Okay, we can't see it under this leotard. So I feel like I gotta give Lynette, a high B. She could be an A as well, but for as what we can see currently, I think that warrants a B tier, just respectively. Mona, guys, Mona is not going to disappoint you. I mean, just look at this ass. This ass is breathtaking. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised Hoyoverse even allowed this, because this is insane. I mean, the perkiness is out of this realm. It's out of this world. It's out of Teyvat itself. This perkiness is the only type of perkiness that you can find in the goddamn abyss, okay? Only on floor 12 can you find enemies this thick, can you find people, entities this thick, this perky. Mona, Mona, straight into S tier. Just no questions about it. Mona's ass is incredibly perky. It is one of the perkiest asses in the entire game when she is underwater, and it is the greatest joy to look at. Might I even dare to say, this is the greatest ass to look at when you are underwater. I mean, seriously, guys, if you have a Mona and you're exploring Fontaine, please use her underwater, because this is no joke. This is tsunami level creating dump truck. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, also, just a side note for Mona, as a character, she confuses me because her tits are ludicrously small, but her ass is like mutated. Her ass is crazy. It's like off the Richter scale, right? So Mona confuses me in that department, but Mona, if you're not disappointing me in this one, definitely an S tier for this. Okay. It's every day when I log onto this game, when I try to, I try to figure out who uses these characters anymore. One of those characters being Ningguang. I mean, seriously, guys, like, who the fuck uses Ningguang at this point, at this level? Who uses her? And anyways, you know what? No, there's a community for everybody. Anyways, that's not the point of the video. The point of this is that Ningguang is kind of disappointing. I was expecting more from her as well, but she's not carrying much, okay? I mean, besides her dress obscuring the top half of her ass as well, skirting the lines between dress locks, are we? But honestly, her thighs aren't bad. Her thighs are not actually bad. Her thighs are actually pretty swell. They're pretty good. But her ass, I can't really see much, but it's not a badass either. And for being the mommy of Geo, she's not doing the worst, but she's also not doing the best. I feel like I just have to place her in B tier. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting her in C tier because she is a mommy, and I just wouldn't feel right in general putting her that low. I feel like I have to put her in B, at least like a mid to low B. I feel like that's going to be the proper rating for Ningguang. Next up, we got Rosaria, and Rosaria is knocking it out of the park with this one. Ass is very thick, her thighs are very thick. It's really good. Okay, I wasn't playing the game way back then. Like before 2.0, I was not actually playing Genshin Impact. But I heard that Rosaria actually came along with Eula. So it was like destiny for Rosaria, for her to be this thick and for her to be carrying some sort of dump truck. And what I do personally like about Rosaria in this instance is that even in her nerfed skin, she's still not nerfed, because no matter what skin Rosaria is in, her ass is just as perky. They did not nerf her ass. in this instance. Okay, so I gotta give props to Rosario. I gotta say Rosario deserves to be in an S tier. I can't see her being any lower than that. Rosaria is definitely great. She's not higher than Eula, but she definitely has something going on for sure. And you can clearly see it. The back portion of her dress, whatever she is wearing, is not obscuring any part of her ass, at least not any important part. You can see everything in 4K, in full detail, in 140p, in everything. You could see everything, okay? It's absolutely spectacular. So Rosaria is gonna have to be in an S tier. You know, you would think that for being in an underwater region, the most fish-like character would, reign supreme. That's not the case. Kokomi is kind of disappointing because number one, her tail fin is blocking her entire ass, so that's just out of the question. But her thighs are actually pretty thick. Her thighs are pretty weird because her thighs seem to be more overgrown than her ass. Her thighs don't seem to be complementing her ass that well, but at the same time, you can see a little portion of her ass. You can't see a little portion of it, but you can't really see much, okay? You're not really getting much out of Kokomi this instant. And I seriously thought that Kokomi would reign supreme because she is in her natural habitat. If you guys didn't know, Kokomi is clearly a fish. There's no question about it. Don't listen to the theory crafters who like to say that she isn't and that she's a full-blown human. No, she's a fish. She's a whole ass fish. So I'm over here thinking that she would have some serious game when it comes to being underwater in the ass department. But I'm not seeing anything, and her thighs, even though that they are considerably good to look at, her ass is not because can't really see it. So Kokomi is unfortunately gonna have to go into the C tier. Next up, we have got Yoimiya. And look, I'm gonna say it how it is. I can never hate on Yoimiya. I think that Yoimiya is one of the more better characters in Genshin Impact just because of her entire personality, her character, her carefree attitude. Yoimiya is that type of girl where no matter what, you're always gonna have to be happy around her, okay? She's always gonna make you happy. You can have like the shittiest day, like just the worst day. You could literally step in shit and then slip and have a concussion and all that shit. And Yoimiya will literally come up to you and just make you feel better right on the spot, okay? But aside from that, Yoimiya, she's not bad either. She's not bad either in the ass department. I have to say, number one, I'm gonna have to put her in the A tier just straight off the bat because I've seen a lot of videos saying about how her ass is all the way out there, okay? Like, I've seen comments on TikTok and YouTube about how, yeah, Yoimiya's ass in this update whenever she's underwater is crazy because her ass is all the way out there. And I do agree with that sentiment, but Yoimiya is not that thick. Actually, I would say that Yoimiya is perfectly petite. Yeah, she's perfectly petite. She's just a petite woman. And I always enjoy that. That's always a luxury to me personally. Okay, I really like that. Yoimiya is very enjoyable as a character. Not only that, but look, Yoimiya has one of the most exposed asses out of any female character in the game. I mean, come on, she's literally wearing bandages as goddamn underwear. At least I hope that she's wearing underwear underneath that, because if she isn't, I don't know what she's doing. She's putting herself in danger every moment she steps out of the house. Okay, if anybody wanted to do something to her, they'd have easy access. Okay, I'm just saying how it is. Okay, not like I'm alluding to anything. I kind of am, but I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, but Yoimiya, you're gonna have to go to A tier, preferably at the top. Actually, no, right under Kuki Shinobu would be just fine. Yoimiya definitely deserves that A tier. Now we have Sucrose, and I remember alluding to Sucrose when I mentioned Kale, when I reviewed Kale in the past. And Sucrose is the exact same way as Kale, okay? There's a reason why they're best friends. It's because they know they are carrying. But everybody thinks that just because they're the nerdy girls or the shy girls or whatever, they just don't think that they're packing. But they are, okay? Sucrose is packing. In fact, let me say this about Sucrose, okay? Sucrose is that character that is always a delight to look at. Their ass is great. It's like a great middle ground for a good ass. Okay, it's not the best ass. It's not like Eula level, but it's also not like Hu Tao level. Okay, it's just a good ass. Okay, her ass, it's just good. It's sizably plump. Okay, her thighs are also sizably plump. I can't really hate on Sucrose. I really can't. I'm gonna have to put in, I'm gonna have to put Sucrose in a goddamn A tier, okay? Because Sucrose is caring. Okay, I can't be hating on Sucrose, okay? Because everybody thinks that she's the nerdy girl. She's shy and she doesn't know how to talk to people. That means that she isn't caring. No, that is the direct opposite. Okay, Sucrose is carrying a dump truck. Okay, it's a medium dump truck, but it is a dump truck. So Sucrose, you gotta go in A tier. Yet again, another disappointment. Now, I was personally expecting more from Zhang Ling in this department, but I've got to say, what she does lack in ass, she makes up for in her damage. Because I mean, this really isn't a lot. This really isn't anything to gawk over. I mean, besides her flaps clearly covering a piece of her ass, for what you can see about it, really isn't all of that. Okay, I mean, I can see that she has a little bit of a push from the thighs, but it's nothing too special. I really thought she would be like a Kugi Shinobu, where her shorts are just, amplifying the magnitude of her ass, but doesn't seem to be the case. I just feel like, Zhangling, she doesn't have any ass at all, really. Even her butt lines aren't as detailed as Amber's butt lines. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put Zhangling in the damn C tier. I'm very sorry for this. Zhangling, she wins in everything else in Genshin Impact, but in the ass department, not so much. Next up, we have the failed Eula, aka Jinyan, or whoever this character is. I don't know. We all forgot about her. But hey, they gave her some ass. I'll tell you that for sure. Okay, I mean, Jinyan did not disappoint. I thought she would disappoint, but strangely enough, she did not. In fact, I think that she is the first character who I was not expecting much from, but she actually did surprise me. Jinyan has the opposite problem of Keqing, whereas Keqing, since her stockings are so gray, you can't really see her ass because it's not being shown. Okay, it's not vibrant enough to actually show any of the lines or anything. No, it's not showing anything. With Xingyan, on the other hand, since whatever she's wearing, her shorts or her underwear, whatever, her lingerie, I don't know what she's wearing, since it's so impeccably white, you can see everything. You can see the push. You can see it, and honestly, for as much as her dress is above her ass, her waist, and how much it flutters, I would say that this is a pretty good ass to look at. Now, because it's Jin Yan, I'm not going to place her any higher than a B, because it's Jin Yan. I mean, bro, it's Jin Yan, okay? But hey, she has ass, okay? And it is a pleasure to look at. I'll say it is a great pleasure to look at. It's nice to look at. It's nice. It's just great. Okay, I mean, I would recommend her for deep sea exploration, not for combat because obviously she's trash at that. But for deep sea exploration, she definitely works. Yeah, this one is just an easy L. I mean, Yanfei. Look, we all knew Yanfei wasn't carrying anything to begin with, but this is expounded upon even more so when you take into consideration that even for the little amount of ass that she does have, is being blocked by goddamn Pandora's box over here. I mean, literally, the only reason I didn't put her in dress locked is because, I mean, this isn't a dress. Like it's a box that's blocking her entire ass, literally just blue balling all of us, right? The box is blue balling every single one of us, okay? But, I mean, Yanfei, she never had ass to begin with, and not to mention the pants that she is wearing, the shorts that she is wearing, it's like puffed up, it's one of those puffed up pants or lingerie that some female characters wear, like Lumine, or one official's newer skins. So even if she did have ass, you can't see it anyways, and it would just be fake because she has those puffed up grandma shorts on. So unfortunately for Yanfei, dare I even say, you know what? No, Yanfei is lower than Hu Tao because Yanfei, not only does she dare to not have any ass whatsoever, but she doesn't even want us to see the minuscule amounts of ass that she does have because she has the goddamn Pandora's box blocking it, whatever the hell that box is. This rating personally hurts me. This is going to be a longer recording than usual because I am in fact one of the biggest Yelan Sims out there. I am the biggest, okay? I have her C6, unfortunately R3, but hey, I gotta keep my bread up somehow. I can't let this game be taken off my bread. However, it hurts me specifically for Yelan, okay? Now, Yelan is going to be an S tier, okay? Because, she is Hydro Mommy, and I can't really place her below that because her thighs are out of this world. Her thighs are pretty good, but unfortunately for her ass, it's a weird combination because her ass is actually pretty flat. But once again, I think that's because, similarly to Jean, her latex suit is just suffocating her ass within its confined space. So I don't even think that that's her fault. I think that she actually has some good ass. It's just that her thighs are what really shines here, okay? But that's still okay because I'm gonna put her in S tier either ways, and if you have a problem with that, I do not give a shit, okay? But it hurts me because I thought that she would be at the very top, but she's not. I really did, okay? I am one of the biggest Yelan Sims worshippers out there, okay? I love Yelan to death. I love Yelan more than I love life. And to just see this, her not being at the top of something for once like she usually always is. Actually, no, always is. 10 out of 10. Like every single time she's always on top of everything. She's basically an archon. She's basically a goddess because she is. You know, Yelan is not at the top. She did not win this competition. But she is going to be an S tier either way because she is a mommy and mommies deserve more recognition than that. Okay, so unfortunately for you, Yelan, I love you so much, but you're gonna have to go. And that is it for the entire Genshin Impact underwater ass tier list. This is where I'm personally putting all of these characters, so if you have differing opinions on where these characters should be, please let me know. Actually, don't, because I do not care about your opinions, and it's not like anybody's going to watch this video. So that's gonna be it for the Genshin Impact underwater tier list. Eula clearly reigns supreme in this situation, like she always does. So that's gonna be the end of the video. Wait, no, no, something's wrong here. Somebody's missing.
You think this is funny?
In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
There are no amount of words that can explain my disbelief. There are no amount of sentences that I can create that can explain my disbelief. This is it. This is the magnum opus. Shenhe has taken the crown. She has taken the crown for the largest ass underwater in Genshin Impact. This is absolutely crazy. This is ridiculous. Okay, this is rambunctious in nature. I mean, this Hoyoverse, I need an explanation for this because this is out of this world. I just can't believe they allowed this to happen. Shenhe, look, I already knew the moment that I used Shenhe in Fontaine for the first time. I knew that I just had to make this video. Shenhe is the entire reason as to why I made this video because her ass is out of this universe. This is crazy. This should be illegal. This shouldn't even be allowed in the game. This should get somebody arrested for having all of this ass underwater, okay? Shenhe is so incredibly thick that I literally cannot use my cryo team in Fontaine because when I do, as she goes underwater, her dummy thick thighs start clapping together and it creates shockwaves underwater, which then creates tsunamis, which destroys the land on Fontaine, okay? Which results in the Hydra Archon putting me through more trials. And I just can't be taken off that. I can't even use my cryo team in Fontaine because Shenhe is too damn thick. Okay? She creates tsunamis every time she swims in Fontaine. She is the thickest character in this game. In Fontaine, she is the thickest character, and I don't think there's gonna be any character that's going to beat Shenhe anytime soon. This is wild. This is crazy. Hoyoverse, please do not fix this, because this is the only reason I use Shenhe underwater. This is the only reason. This is crazy. Okay, this is breaking reality itself. Shenhe is at the very top of S tier. She is overtaking Eula, because where Eula lacks in the ass department a little bit, Shenhe makes up for that. She makes up for the thighs department, and she makes up for the boob department. This is an all-in 3 character, and you can never go wrong with having Shenhe underwater in Genshin Impact. Thank you for watching this video. This is the Genshin Impact underwater ass tier list. I hope you did not enjoy it.